Hi photography students, this is just a quick update from me. It's probably much easier if I talk through things than just sending you guys a really long email. So you are now into week 2 of your quarantine project. So last week you have done for me your research element. So in this week, what you need to do for me is attempt your practical work. But the really, really important thing that I want to draw your attention to is that you have a deadline. So on Friday, by 4 p.m, you have to send to me your best photo from whatever experimentation that you've tried. So I want your one best result, the best thing that you're the most proud of, most happy with. So what we'll do is we will review each other's and we'll look at the difference, and that will be one of the questions in the evaluation that we'll do in the 3rd week. So you have to do this in order for that last week to work. So what I'm going to show you is, with my work email address, I have made a Pinterest. So all I'm going to put on it is stuff that's going to help us now. So I've linked up my version of the quarantine project one, where there's lots of pins and ideas and things on there. So what I will do with your work is I will submit it to this board here. So I've made it, but obviously I don't have your results to add to it yet. So within that, I will upload all of the different images and they'll all be anonymous so we can see a real nice gallery of everyone's work. Plus also, this you can view on your phones, so it's going to be a win-win for everyone, and it's going to be a really easy thing for everybody to do, no matter what device you're doing. So by 4 p.m, on Friday, no later, you have to send that to me, okay? So just so we are super clear on everything, I've got a big spreadsheet that monitors everyone now. So what I'm going to be doing is looking through and seeing where you're up to in your reports. So here is my version. So this is the work that we've already done, past your timeline there. So we're into quarantine project. You should have a really extensive Pinterest board and the link to that Pinterest board there. You should have a really good and extremely thorough quarantine project mind map, and then made it really, really clear the 6 ideas you want to do, what you'll need to do this. So in this week, you will be trying out those 6 ideas, trying out your practical work. Remember, my main focus for this is on absolute quality. I don't need hundreds and thousands of pictures. I just need real quality good ones for each idea, and you'll put them into your document. 2 good ideas for 2 good results for each idea, and then you would have your edited versions, nothing fancy, just editing on your phone within an app, something that you can easily access, and then the originals. So 2 edited versions, 2 originals, and then you send your best one to me. Something else really important is you actually get marks for showing things that you've tried out but haven't really worked. So anything that you've got out of this in terms of your camera roll that didn't really turn out how you'd expected and you've decided not to include it, not to follow up on it, put an example in there, something you tried, didn't work out. I want to see that in your book. Okay, so super important. Don't forget about that deadline. But also, one last thing before we go is this is kind of how I see your folders together. So I've actually zoomed into that sheet there before, so I've got this massive gap. So you can see here, people who've shared folders, I can see your folders. This I've got pretty much in alphabetical order, so it's got some of my foundation work in there as well. So I can basically see everybody's work. If it's still called report, I have no idea whose work it is. So I have to go into that to see, so make sure that you've named it with your own name, but also, equally so, the people who are in pink on my checklist, it means I can't see your work at all. So for this to work, what you have to do is you have to share it with me through Google Drive. And then I will see it in here. Make sure you name it as your own name. However, you can't just email me stuff because everybody's working remotely. They're just sending like hundreds and thousands of emails, so like loads from staff members, loads from different students that I teach, and it just becomes a list and things just get buried in the list. Here, you can really easily see I have access to your work, and I can be like, I want to see exactly how that person's doing. I'm going to double click in there and I'm just going to work on it, and then I'll leave comments in there as well. This is the only way that we can actually do remote working, just because everything else becomes far too complicated. So the onus is on you now, and I'm going to share my spreadsheet so you can see exactly where you're at. If you're all green, you're all good. you're totally up to date, nothing to add. Orange means that there's a comment that I've left in your folder or in your document. Okay? And then lastly, if there's red, there's something there that you haven't done. And like we talked about in my assessment criteria video, if you want to do well in second year, you need to make sure that you do everything in a really extremely thorough way.